I'm Amy Danahay and I'm the Respect Yourself campaign manager for Warwickshire County Council. The project was to develop a website and a web-based application with two aims. One, to provide young people with information, advice and guidance around sexual health and wellbeing, and the other was to increase access to sexual health services. Last year we went to Holland and we looked at innovative ways that they were engaging with young people, and they used technology. At the same time, Coventry University were looking at developing some form of behaviour change app that could be a friend in young people's pocket to help them to access services. So they looked at the research as to why young people weren't accessing services, and had looked at process mapping and behaviour change that could support and overcome some of those barriers. So we all got together, NHS Warwickshire, Warwickshire County Council, Coventry University, and we looked at redeveloping the Respect Yourself website and how we could build this app into the website. We set up a young people's project board to work alongside our project board. We received funding from the Health Innovation Education Cluster for the app. And the young people looked at, what would they like to see on a website? They understood what the app was going to be about, and then they decided it was okay having information on a website, but we needed to look at innovative and creative ways that we could actually get young people to access the website. So we commissioned Johnny Hunt from Going Off the Rails to work with the group of young people and share some of the learning from our trip to Holland. We showed them websites that the Dutch use, and the young people very quickly said there were three things that would get them to engage with the website. One was naked bodies. That would get young people looking at it. The second one was a sectionary. They wanted a place where, if they didn't understand what was being said with their mates, that they could quite easily tap something into a computer and find out what the term meant and what the terminology was, and a place that they could really sort of understand what was going on. And then they wanted a place where they could openly and honestly answer questions and get the answer to those questions. Young people post the questions, and they post whatever's on their mind. Some of them are amusing questions, but a lot of them are very sensible questions around relationships, making up, breaking up, flirting, but also some of the sexual experiences and how do they cope with first-time sex. And the Young People's Project Board worked through Avon Valley School and asked initially for all the students right across the school to post the questions to get the website started. And they wrote the service specification as well. They said what it was that they wanted the website to do. So as much as they'd identified the three key areas that they wanted, they also said that it was really important that they had a way that their parents could access the site and learn more about what was going on in their lives. They wanted to learn more about how to communicate with their parents as well. They wanted a lot more around emotional health and wellbeing, relationships, to be able to navigate their way through growing up. They wanted more on puberty. So they really were quite specific about the areas that they wanted. The actual sexual intercourse side was just a very small part of what they wanted. So I had to come along and create the website with the application. The young people met up with all the developers that were interested and had the opportunity to interview them. The developers also had the opportunity to be able to say what was feasible within the budget and what wasn't, so the young people's expectations were managed. And then the young people decided which contractor they were going to award the development to, and that was Diva Creative. So they really were involved right from the word go, and then they worked alongside the management board, and all of our project meetings were held at Avon Valley School so that members of the Young People's Project Group could come along to each meeting and really begin to shape the new website and the direction of it. They also got involved in the marketing, the media strategy. Obviously the website is now finished, and they love the fact that they can see everything that they said that they wanted is built into that Coventry University went out just when the application was ready, and they chose some secondary schools to look at levels of knowledge, look at whether young people were accessing services. So they chose, I think it was either 4 or 5 schools to be the control as part of the evaluation tool. And now they're going back to those schools to see whether in actual fact the app has had that desired behaviour change. So we'll be able to see whether the application has had the desired impact of behaviour change. We've built in some of those core functions from the app into the website as well. So we're hoping that it won't just be the app that has that desired effect. We also know through the increased number of website hits that people are using it, they're looking at it, we know how long they're staying on the pages for. So we can navigate and see that somebody who's coming in through the naked bodies route, which is what the young people told us that would get them on, they're actually not staying on that section for very long. They're then moving from the naked bodies into the service section, and then they're staying on those pages for longer. So we can see that actually what the young people said was right, but then they're not just looking at it from the point of view of looking at naked bodies, they are then using the website for what it is that they want. So we're being able to measure the journey of the visitors that come onto the website and look at whether they're using all of the pages or particular aspects. The Rate My Service function is young people, when they've accessed the service, they have the chance to rate it from a star rating point of view. We've gone using the sort of similar to Amazon, that over an average number of ratings will then rate that service. So they can rate the service out of 5 stars, obviously 5 being a really good service. Then they get the opportunity to give some feedback as well. So from a commissioning point of view, we get the feedback from the service, from the young person about that particular service. So for example, if we've commissioned a service, we're getting that instant feedback as to whether young people got the quality service they should have. We can then feed that back to the heads of services. We can feed that back directly to the smaller service if it's a pharmacy, for example. And so it is a brilliant evidence trail, not only for the service, because they often get stuck with the You're Welcome quality criteria on capturing that feedback from young people. How do you do it? So we're providing them with that information. All of the services now have QR codes. So, and they're in discrete places around the service. So young people, if they've got a smartphone, they can scan the QR code, and then that'll take them straight to that page for that service, and they can then say whether they felt it was good or not. And a lot are coming in through the QR code. Through the analytics that we've got with the website, we can see whether people are coming in off smartphones, whether they're coming in off the website, whether it's been through the QR code, whether it's just been through that page. And we do know that a significant proportion are coming in through the QR codes, through the advertising promotional information. Anecdotally, yes, we're just going back and getting the footfall data. We got the baseline data last year, so the services have got until 10th of December to provide us with the footfall data for this year. So we should see that by the end of the year that there's been an increase, and certainly speaking to some of the services anecdotally, they are seeing an increase, and an increase in young people using the Respect Yourself request slips, because they can be downloaded off the website, or if you've got a smartphone, you can literally hold it up on your phone and tell it what you want to be on the request slip, so you haven't got to speak. The young people are using technology far more. I mean, most young people now have smartphones, so that was what made us think about using new technology to be able to engage with young people. They all rely on their mobile phone is their watch, it's their iPod, it's everything. So we wanted to very much make it a friend in their pocket that could also help them to access the services. But equally, the thinking behind what was going to get young people using the site as well is that we know that by the age of 10, on average, I think it's about 58% of 10-year-olds have already accessed some form of porn, and that was a YouGov research, 2008. And so, in actual fact, if we can give them what they're looking for, so they're on the internet, they're searching for images of genitals and things like that. If we can give it to them to show them that there are a range of genitals out there, all look different shapes, sizes, and they're not gaining that information from pornography, but they're getting onto a website that they can have a bit of a giggle at, they can have a look at, but then it's taking them off somewhere else that's giving them some sensible, robust, consistent information, then that was the whole aim of what it was that we wanted to do.